Now here's 3 things you could pick up that are on an authorized list of items to pick up. And it could exponentially improve your consciousness over one day, 1 week, 1 month, would speak of a year, if you pick this up. One is read 1 chapter of Bhagavad-gītā every day. What if you pick that up? Huh? He said, you already do. You would feel what? Happier. Would you be smarter? Definitely. Here's another mantra. Scrolling makes you dumb. And reading a chapter of Bhagavad-gītā makes you smart. Because the Bhagavad-gītā is, as Prabhupada describes, the Vedic intelligence. It's all there in one place. And it's Krishna speaking himself. So you get to hear directly from Krishna, and you have your intelligence fortified by the Vedic intelligence. So which would you rather have? The intelligence of the combined forces of everyone who posts on the internet and consumed in 10-second bytes at a rate of about 50 per 30 seconds? Or would you rather have the infusion of Krishna's words and his intelligence? All right. And fault finding, there's a way to use it constructively. And that was mentioned by a disciple of one of Prabhupada's godbrothers that I knew, and he said, when people used to ask him, because they'd see he was dressed in a different way, he was dressed as a sadhu, and they'd ask him, what's your religion? He said, my religion is finding the faults within myself and trying to correct them. So, in one way, you can dovetail the propensity to find fault in others by making a new religion. If people ask, hey, what's your religion? Why do you wear that paint on your face? Say, my religion is to find the faults within myself and try to correct them for the benefit of others. And then, if you read a chapter of Bhagavad-gītā a day, if you'd like to know some of the benefits of that, there's a book called the Gita Mahatmya. I'll just summarize it for you. In the Gita Mahatmya, there's a conversation between Parvati and Lord Shiva. Parvati is the wife of Lord Shiva. And she wants to know about what's so great about Bhagavad-gītā. And Lord Shiva very exuberantly expresses all the benefits of reading Bhagavad-gītā. In fact, he says if you read 1 chapter, or if you even read 1 verse, or half a verse, then he says, even a quarter of a verse, or even just 1 word, he said the benefit is inestimable. And he goes on to tell stories that have been passed down from antiquity in a system known Aitya. Miraculous benefits people have achieved from hearing the chanting of 1 chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, including birds who became liberated from sitting in a tree underneath where somebody else was chanting the Bhagavad-gītā, or dead bodies coming back to life. So if you want a little excitement in your life that's not temporary or limited to 10 seconds, don't scroll, read a chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Leave behind the scrolling and instead pick up a chapter of Bhagavad-gītā and hear it. The next highly recommended activity to pick up is to chant japa. Japa means, as our resident sannyasi who hasn't been here in 35 years, Hanumat Prishak Swami, says, although his danda is still here, He left it at Srivasa's house. He has another one, don't worry. He said ja and pa. You use your pa and your ja. So it's called japa. It's amazing what you can do with your jaw and your pa. That's japa. Everyone say japa. Ja, pa. So if you use your pa and you hold on to a counting mechanism, very high tech. They're wooden beads. Don't you hate high tech stuff sometimes? It can drive you nuts. In fact, now there's a movement I've been noticing for people that write on paper again. In fact, there's a whole science of how you remember things better by writing them on index cards and filing them yourself, and there's very intricate ways of filing, ancient systems. Are you aware of this? So there's that, and then you try to learn a new app. Anybody try to learn a new app? I have about 500 of them that I tried to learn. And I look at them and I don't open them because I think, oh, I don't know how to use that. And then next thing I know, I get a notification and I'm distracted somewhere else. So simple stuff is very helpful. Japa, what does it mean? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means... it means to utter the names of God. If you really think about how beautiful that is, first of all, that God has a name. And then that we have a tongue and ears that allow us to say that name. If we consider that Bhagavad-gītā, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the great teachers of bhakti say, there's no difference at all between Krishna and his name. Just let that sink in for a minute. It's not theoretical, but it's an absolute principle. And consider that we right now have the technology, our own ears, tongue, the mind, which is a marvel, to repeat the names of God and listen to them. And this is trance-inducing. It's the repetition of the names of Krishna, listening, brings one to spiritual trance, above the turbulent level of consciousness that we may be used to because of scrolling too much. Scrolling the world, scrolling our phones, scrolling the television. And just letting our minds continue to scroll. They keep rolling and scrolling inside our heads. But japa is a means to improve ourselves from the inside. And it begins by the very pleasant activity of repeating the names of God. And to make it an effective discipline, one then counts how many times one repeats the name of God. That's why we keep beads. Or you can count on your fingers. And if you pick that habit up, it puts you in the upper echelons of spiritual practitioners of the world. Just by taking the time to utter the names of God. The mantra that most people know that we chant is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can take time every day, and instead of doing any of the other things that you've left behind, because if you find yourself addicted to some activity that you know you should leave behind, you need something to replace it. I recommend chanting a chapter of Bhagavad-gītā and chanting japa. If you resort to those again and again, it becomes medicinal. First, it quells the impulse to pick up something that is vacuous. It has no value whatsoever. In fact, it may be, definitely is, something counterproductive. Instead, use your fingers, use your tongue, use your ear, chant the names of God. Nobody can stop you, even if you are held in a cell somewhere. You can go on chanting, and you can transport yourself out of the cell consciously and not be constrained, because we're only constrained by our consciousness.